Emma, and thank you, Sharon. Ibube, I can see your hands up. Do you want to say something? All right. So,
No, no, no.
good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on your time zone. All right. We have people from East Africa joining us. We have people from Asia as well joining us. So, good morning, good afternoon to you all, and welcome to today's session. I want to appreciate each and every one of you for time out to join the call. And I especially want to appreciate our facilitators. We have a lineup of very experienced and high quality facilitators joining us from around the world. I want to use this opportunity to say a big welcome to them as well. So, without further ado, I want to call on just three persons for the sake of time. You would introduce yourself, tell us your name, tell us your profession, your expectation for today's session. So I'll randomly pick only three persons. Mm. So I have Mercy Ejoga. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Mercy, could you please unmute your mic and introduce yourself?
Okay, good evening. It's evening over here. Okay, my name is Message Yoga, and sorry, I did not get so that we should introduce ourselves.
All right. So Mercy, please tell us your name, tell us your profession, and tell us your expectation for today's session.
Okay. So my name is Message Yoga. Like I said, I am an executive assistant, and I work with PEDA, that is Producer Sports Development Alliance. So it's all about exporting. Okay, my expectation from this meeting. Okay, I have so
Hi, Mercy. I lost you there briefly. I don't know if it's just me.
Not at all. We can't hear her as well. I can confirm.
All right. Mercy, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you. But if you sort out your network issues, which I believe this is, you can just do your introduction in the chat box. Thank you. So I will go on to the next person on my screen. I have Regina Mutsuku. I'm guessing you are joining us from East Africa. Regina, if you can hear me, kindly unmute your mic, tell us your name, tell us your profession, and tell us your expectation for this session. Regina, if you're speaking, you're muted. All right, this time as well, I would proceed to call on the next person on my screen. I have Ifeanyi Afulukwe. Ifeanyi, kindly unmute your mic and introduce yourself.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm Ifeanyi Afokwe. I work as a fleet maintenance head at the agent limited Lagos. My expectation is to get more insight on how to work better in my organization and add value to my organization. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Ifeanyi. So I will take one last person. Um, Chisom Izeobi. Chisom, if you can hear us, kindly unmute and introduce yourself. Tell us your name, your profession and your expectation for today's session. Hi, Chisom, if you're speaking, you're muted.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Sure, I can.
Alright, good evening, everyone. My name is Chisom Azobi, and I am a diction coach working at Seagold Diction. My expectation for today's meeting is to gain more knowledge and practical insight on how I can expand my soft skills to do better at my profession. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Chisom. Lovely words, by the way. Thank you. So, I want to state that at the end of this session, we will have a gift, right, to participants who join us today. So, I want to encourage you guys to stick around until the end of the session. All right. So, a brief introduction about our session, a brief intro to why this is very crucial. You see, um, as people in the, from my experience, as someone who is in the tech space, we have this obsession with the technical details, right? We want to sharpen our technical skills, build portfolios, work on several projects, and the rest, right? But we tend to see soft skills as secondary. But here's the thing, with the emergence of artificial intelligence, right, we know that AI faster than the best software engineers across the globe. Engineer from Meta, the best software engineer from Google, all these big tech companies, they cannot write code as fast as AI can today. So technical than how it was back then. So there's an increasing importance for soft skill. I mean, look at communication, for instance. If you cannot effectively and clearly communicate, how will you close deals? How will you sell yourself in interviews? Right? If you cannot think critically, if you cannot manage and coordinate yourself in high stakes environments, I can say this that you won't go far in your career. So this session is creating balance the other part of the equation. Technical skills are important, no doubt, but it's important you have that balance so that you can go very far in your career. All right. Agenda, we will be talking about the host organization, which is next 5, and this is particularly important for people who are outside the community who are joining us today. So next life is a Pan-African talent development and innovation ecosystem dedicating to developing solutions and world-class talents. We do this through providing infrastructure to run and manage capacity building programs, accelerators, hackathon, and at the heart of what we do in next life is rooted in collaboration and verifiable contributions. So I would say that if you're not following us across social media pages, please kindly do so. Okay. So without further ado, I would like to call on our first speaker, who is a public health practitioner and women's rights advocate working on gender equality, disability, inclusion, and social justice. She is the founder and executive director of Her Future Flame, an organization that is committed to supporting young girls and women, including those with disabilities, education, and leadership. Her work spans partnership with government institutions, civil society organizations, and local communities. She encourages young people to build empathy, communication, and inclusive leadership as core professional skills. Please join me as I welcome all the way from Kenya, Nelly Adala, who is our first speaker. We'll be speaking on collaborating as diverse background. Nelly, it's an honor to have you here with us. Nelly, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Uh, Hi, Kingsley, and good evening, everyone. I think before I start, I heard there was a gift. Now I genuinely feel like I want to be a participant and not a speaker anymore so that I can participate and get the gifts.
It's open. It's open.
Anyway, good evening, everyone. Pleasure here with you all today. And thank you so much to Next Hive for the invitation and for creating spaces that prepare young Africans for beyond just the classroom place. And before we begin, I'd like us to reflect on one simple question. Have you worked on a group assignment or volunteered in your community or just started an internship where someone thought very differently from you, communicated differently from what you had, or approached problem in a very different, completely different way than you thought you could approach the problem. And I want to critically think about that. And as you think about it, I think I would want to answer it from my own perspective. Please feel free to raise your hand if you feel you want to chime in or give an anything that we are going to discuss, because this is not a class; it's something that we are all discussing. I'm sure with the specific example that I've given, a good number of us have been in similar situations. Sometimes those experiences are exciting, while others can be very frustrating. Yet, those are often the moments where we get to be taught that one of the most valuable lessons, one of the most valuable skills that employers are looking for today is the ability to work effectively with people from different backgrounds. And I think that is the point where I want us to start uh, this conversation today. And as Kingsley said, my name is Leonida Adala, public health practitioner, women rights advocate, and I work as an executive director for an organization in Kenya called Her Future Flame. It works vulnerable and young women, uh, including those socially excluded and those ones with disability, through health, education, gender equality, leadership, matters, climate action, and advocacy. From what I've just explained, you will see at some point I am also an employer. And when I am looking for people who I need to put in my team, people who I need to employ so that they get the job done, I get to look at specific things. And most of the time, I always look way beyond what you bring in your paper. Technical skills may open the first door for you. Actually, technical skills open the first door for so many people, but your ability to be able to work with people determines how far you will go. And the importance of why this specific topic matters, it's because you as a student or you as an early career professional, you have a lot of time building technical skills. I mean, most of us go to school in university and we spend 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, we finish our degree, we go to masters. Others want to go way further and do PhD. And you study, you get to attend workshops, you get to earn your certificates. Other than you doing this, you learn the softwares of it and you strengthen your professional knowledge when it comes to all this. And you will find that all this is important because there is no way I would employ you if you don't have these things. But at some point, it you get to ask yourself, what does the workplace demand other than just this? Because we get to demand so much. Every workplace you will find brings together people from different cultures. It brings people who have different personalities, different educational backgrounds, different beliefs. They communicate way different. Their styles of doing things are different. Their abilities are also different. And they also have gone through different life experiences. And whether you become a doctor, whether you become an engineer, whether you choose a life path to become an entrepreneur, a lawyer, a teacher, or whichever practitioner you want, your success will depend on your ability to collaboratively work with other people. You will find that most people lawyers consistently identify communication, teamwork, and adaptability as one of the very many things. I'm sure when you're doing your job applications, other than them telling you what the job is all about, it gets to a point where they tell you the required candidates' expectations on what they should have, maybe 2 to 3 years of this and this and this. Having been able to do this communication, teamwork, being able to do what your degree may actually get you to have an interview, but the skills that you get to do when you're with people will help you shape the career that you want. And when we speak about different backgrounds, what we mean is most of the time we get to hear the word diversity being thrown here and there. And many people genuinely think, oh my God, this is about race. This is about ethnicity or something else. But when you look at diversity from a bigger perspective, it refers to matters culture, things to do with language, things to do with religion, gender, there is your age, there is your socioeconomic background, of you, there is your personality, and there is your professional experience. There is also part of what your values are and what. So each person brings something unique. The perspective is different. Every person is to make everyone make like they feel in the goal is also to create an environment where different perspectives strengthen our work rather than divide us. Some of the most important soft skills that I think I came up with to discuss with you today, I think I did four. And the first one will be self awareness. Everything begins with the understanding that you have with yourself. We all have assumptions we all have assumptions and unconscious biases shaped on how we were brought experiences that we've had. Self-awareness in this case helps us to recognize that biases before they influence how we treat others going forward. For example, if someone communicates very directly, we may assume that they are very rude. In reality, that might simply mean that that is their communication style. A good example to ask ourselves is, are you responding to the person or are you responding to your assumptions? That is if you're very self-aware, because great professionals are willing to learn. You see, they normally say you don't get to a place where you know everything. So great professionals are willing to learn, they're willing to reflect, and they're willing to grow. Another soft skill that you should have is matters concerning active listening. Listening is actually one of the most underrated leadership skills. And I think this is very, very important. And I will give an example. Just a few weeks ago, our organization was launching a project in a certain county here in Kenya. And I remember we were launching the project to a group of people who did not really get to understand what matters gender equality means, gender equity, and they were all surrounding matters of education. And there are times they were asking questions, or the way they wanted clarity. And from where I was, I felt like they were not really asking the questions or wanting to get clarity from a point that will benefit them in their understanding. I felt they were doing all that and they were attacking me. So at some point, I found myself wanting each of them to finish talking whatever they were saying so quick so that I could respond also very quickly. And that is the problem with so many people, because you will find we listen not to prepare the responses that we want to give, that will give people clarity, but we just listen so that we can be able to give answers and dash out things very, very, very fast. And we need to always stand to listen to understand. When you're having a conversation with people, let the person who is on the other side hear you speak, say words like, yes, tell me more. Help me understand your perspective. That's actually a very interesting point. You know, when you're talking to someone and they hear you say that, they would want to explain to you more about it. And this can actually change completely the quality of the conversation that you thought you were going to have. And this makes the person on the other end feel hard. And then they become very willing to open up to collaboration. So we've spoken about being self-aware, and we've also talked about active listening. Now I want to talk about something called adaptability. There is no way in this earth that two people can communicate in the exact same way. And during my career, I have interacted with people, adolescent girls, their parents, teachers, community leaders, government officers, development partners, and so on and so forth. And each group requires a different approach when you're talking about, you might be speaking about the same thing, but it requires different approach when you're talking to all of these groups. So adaptability is not about changing who you are. It is actually about adjusting the way you communicate so that everyone feels respected and understood. The ability to be able to adapt is one of the strongest indicators to have in professional maturity. And I will echo this one out by, you might have an idea of what is being talked about. You might have an idea of the specific issue at hand that needs to be worked on. But because you're not able to adapt to make all these people feel like they're part of the room and they're heard and their opinion matter, you might not necessarily be in a position to agree with my opinion, but the way you react when I am speaking, the way you react when I say something that you do not agree with, or something that goes different, that goes contrary to what you believe, goes contrary to your values, goes contrary to your culture, how you react will show me the level of adaptability that you are actually coming up with. So adaptability is one of also the strongest indicators to have, other than just being technical competent. And I think the last soft skill I will talk about is matters, respect, and inclusion. Inclusion to me goes way beyond inviting someone into my room. It means creating an environment where this person already feels like they are valued and they are able to contribute. It can be demonstrated in so many ways through very simple actions. Number one, listen to them without interrupting. There is respecting their opinions, even if you do not agree with them. That is something that I've already said, and I will still keep on echoing. There is the aspect of learning how to pronounce people's names correctly. Let me just chime in on that one. That one is a bit personal. So many people are used to the name Nelly being spelled Nelly, but the spelling to my name is Nellie. And I get very pissed when someone addresses me, and even if it's through a chat, and then they write my name as Nelly. because there is no difference in pronouncing Nelly with a Y or the Nelly with an IE. But sometimes I go the extra mile when I'm in a new place. I will say, my name is Nelly, and I say Nelly with an IE, not Nelly with a Y, because I am a strong believer of my name is the most important thing. It is actually the only thing I have that can make people move, and not what I have, like physical things. So as you're getting to also learn matters about respect and inclusion, when you learn how to pronounce or to write other people's names, actually really, really amazing when it comes to also matters respect. Another simple action is being mindful of accessibility needs. This I'm saying because we deal with persons with disabilities, and sometimes you might find that you're speaking so highly about inclusion, but when it comes to you pulling them into the environment where you want them to be included, there are no needs that make the place accessible to them. Another another simple action that I will take, I will is encouraging quiet members to share their ideas. You will get to a class and you will find there are people who are so outspoken, they're so ready to share their ideas, they're ready to share whatever they learned. Maybe let's say you're doing a recap. When you want, what can we do to make this better? They are so quick to raise up their hands. And they will find there are other people who don't necessarily raise their hands or don't necessarily get to share whatever they have with groups. And giving such people a place, an area, for you to tell them that I'm providing this space so that you're able to share your idea and actually make other people listen. That is a very beautiful way of creating an environment where people feel valued. And also don't forget to give credit where it is due, because you might be working with a team and you need things to be done in a certain way and they are not done in that way, or someone does it in a different way than you. You were expecting results A, but then they get results B. And then to get to that results B, it took effort. So one of the things that you should also be able to do is appreciate, give them credit, tell them, I appreciate that you took the chance and effort to do this and this and this. Going forward, maybe let's look at it from this point of view. And it becomes so easy to work with people with such skills, with such soft skills, because at the end of the day, you'd not only get to bulldoze people around by the papers that you have, because everyone who goes to school, most of us left school with papers. Others are still chasing papers, but there is something different that needs to stand out from the papers that you have and something else that someone has. And in a short time before I finish, just allow me to share a little bit from my own journey. As a public health practitioner, and throughout my work at Her Future Flame, I have worked alongside government institutions, development partners, educators, and all these stakeholders that we have. And I will tell you for a fact, not everyone approaches problems the same way. Not everyone communicates the same way. Yet, I have been able to learn the meaningful impact that really comes from having all the answers. I know today I got picked as a speaker to talk about the soft skills are beyond the technical competence. And there are some of you who are here in this call who have even way more soft skills that we might have. So there is a meaningful impact that comes when you do not have all the answers. It comes from listening. It comes from building trust. It comes from respecting the different perspectives while still working under the same shared purpose. And the most successful partnerships, I will say for a fact, I have built were possible because people chose collaboration over competition and curiosity over assumptions. If you choose to do things together instead of competing, that makes everything so successful. But if you come from school and you have a degree in, let's say, law, you are a lawyer, it never works with you competing the next person to see who will get more clients, who will get to defend the client to the point where they get to do like amazing things and not go to jail. If you sit and collaborate with someone else and say, this is where this client is and this is what I need to do, but I think I am stuck here, giving another person a chance to chime in on their idea collaboratively to kill the competition will take yours way a bit further. Let's be more curious of how to do things other than just assuming. Be curious to ask questions. Be curious to say, you said this. What did you mean? You said this. What did you mean? You did this like this. How would I do it like this as well? Other than just staying in a place and then being able to make assumptions. Sometimes we always tend to make assumptions that are not very, very correct. So being able to make successful partnerships for those in school and for those who are early career developers, strive to have more collaboration and more curiosity over competition and assumptions. I think, Kingsley, I would want to stop there. But before I stop, I don't know if there is any question or there is anything that anyone would like to clarity over or any other thing. But I think I would leave my key takeaway because I know there will be a time for question and answers. I want to let everyone know as they are continuing or beginning their careers, I want to encourage you to remember a few things. Know yourself before you judge others. It will make you have really amazing skills. Listen to understand and not simply to respond. Take your time to understand. Sometimes even listening to why a person says what they're saying makes you understand so much, because sometimes you get to answer yourself from whatever they're saying. Adapt your communication without compromising your values. That is something that you can do very, very well without necessarily having to fight anyone at work, at school, or at any place. And make inclusion a daily practice. So many people use inclusion as a concept. Let's use it as daily practice. And as I said, as I was speaking, technical competence, which we all have, may secure you your first opportunity. But your ability to communicate, your ability to collaborate, your ability to build relationships with people from different backgrounds, those are what we call the soft skills, will sustain your career and expand your impact way further than you might think you will. And I would want to leave you with a thought. The most successful professionals are not always the smartest people in the room. They are often the people who most people trust and enjoy working with. People will tend to work with people who give them room to be themselves. People will deliver for people who are like that as compared to the smartest people in the room. And if at all you do not remember anything from whatever I have shared today, just remember this quote that normally says, people may always forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. What you made them feel comes from your soft skills. We throw diversity along. Diversity is a thing like a seat. When you get to a table, diversity is you getting a seat on the table. But inclusion is having your voice heard. So even as you speak about diversity and inclusion as a skill, going outside so that you give people room, always know. Give people the chance to also tell you about who they are and a chance to talk about themselves. That degree you hold might get you an interview, but your people skills will actually shape your career. Kingsley, I think I'll be open to questions. They can be left on the chat box or someone can ask. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that very insightful session, Daddy. Like I said earlier, it's an honor to have you here. My key takeaway from this session is collaboration over competition. And I say this because as someone who is part of the startup ecosystem, it's competition there is fierce, competition for customers, competition for grants and the rest. So it's important we learn to collaborate over compete against one another. All right. So I'm very certain we've gained insight from Nelly's session, and I know we may have one or two questions to ask Nelly. So if you have any questions on your mind, kindly signify with a raise of hand, please. Any questions? Okay, the first one I'm seeing here is from Chisom. Chisom, you can unmute your mic and proceed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ma'am Nelly, for the wonderful section. I really enjoyed your section. Please, my question is mainly based on clarification of what you said. Two key takeaways you said. One of them, you said, adapt your communication style without compromising your values. I would want you to throw more light on that. And the other one is make inclusion your daily practice and not just a concept. Please, ma'am, can you throw more light on that too? Thank you so much.
Kingsley, I think I can give you 1 more minute to see if there is anyone else who will have a question so that I can take all of them together.
Okay, so who else has any question? So she can take it all together. So I think that's the only question. So we can proceed for the sake of time. Ibube, I can see your hands up. Please unmute your mic and proceed.
All right, no problem. So thanks so much for that, Daily. Yeah, so I just wanted to ask a general question in all. So the general question I wanted to ask you said we should be open to like we should allow others speak and like we should listen. We should be more listening. We should listen more to others and also be more curious about what others has to offer. But sometimes we are not given the space to do that. There are some situations which arises where we are not given that space to show what we have or what we have to offer. Like how do you propose we bring ourselves out? Like if you are able to understand what I am able to say.
Okay, now I don't know if you clearly got that.
I think I lost towards the last part of the question. I'm not sure if he can come up again or if he can leave it in the chat box as I answer the first question.
Okay. It will be kindly leave the question in the chat box, please.
Okay.
Okay,
I think I will start. Okay. Okay. So I think I'll start the question on how we can adopt our communications necessarily losing our values. And that's an amazing question. Adapting your communication style is not the same as values. And you will find this because you are on how you communicate and not what you stand for. Adapting your communication means being intentional about how you engage with different people, because I've already spoken about how different people get to grasp different things. Now, being able to adapt your communication with different people so that your message is understood and received effectively. It doesn't mean that you need to principles or ethics or identity. Let's say if you're speaking with a community elder, you may use maybe more formal language and allow more time for conversation. If you're speaking to university students, you might use relatable examples and more. If you're presenting let's say to senior executives, you're more likely to more conscious and focus on the strategic outcomes. So in each of these different examples given, your message, your honesty, and your values remain the same, only that your approach to how you communicate changes. I would like you to think communication as an outfit. You will not wear, you wouldn't wear hiking boots to a board meeting. Let's say you're going for a board meeting. You wouldn't wear hiking boots to a board, or you wouldn't wear a business suit to play football. Nothing changes. So your presentation, but you're still the same person. Similarly, when it comes to effective communication, you just adjust your style so that it fits the audience without compromising your value or their value, your character or their character. I don't know if I have answered the question to the satisfaction that needs to be asked, but I will be the person who asked can come in and tell me the same thing. And I think the next question was I talked about making inclusion a daily practice and concept. When I say make inclusion a daily practice, not a concept, I mean that inclusion shouldn't be something that we talk about during trainings, awareness days only. It should be something that we demonstrate through our everyday actions and decisions. Example, if you look at classrooms, invite everyone to contribute during group discussions. I'm sure people here are in school and they get to have discussions. When you're having those discussions, get to allow everyone to contribute. Don't dismiss someone's ideas because they are quiet or because they are different. You get to be willing to work with classmates from different backgrounds instead of being able to work with your friends. In a workplace setup, acknowledge and value that everyone contribution, give credit, ensure where everyone has an opportunity to speak, they get to speak. That people communicate and they learn differently. If you are in a leadership position, ask yourself, after we have done this discussion, whose voice is missing in this conversation? Consider whether decisions into account the need of women, the need of persons with disabilities, the need of young people, the represented groups. You get to create opportunities for participation rather than just assuming everyone experiences situations the same way. And to make more understandable, when I talked about her future flame during the start of the conversation, I remember saying vulnerable girls and young women, including those socially excluded and those with disabilities. When I speak about socially excluded, I am specifically referring to the marginalized group, the LGBT community, the girls and young women who belong to that community. You see, when you are making inclusion part and parcel and not just a concept, when you're designing projects, when you're designing programs that you know will impact these lives, will impact girls, will impact these young women, bring about the ideas of these people. Let them feel included. Let them sit at the table. Let them make their ideas. They themselves know the problems that they are going through. Try and implement in regards to what they have spoken about. That is what I mean. Let it be something that you practice on a daily basis, not just a concept in our head. You know, most of organizations have aspects that they get to tick boxes. They're just like boxes they're ticking, the policies they make, but they're not things that they get to implement. And that is what I mean as a concept and not as an inclusion. I hope that is well understood so that I can take the last question. I am thinking it will be left it on the chat box.
Hi, Nelly. Thank you so much for answering that. But for the sake of time, we will be handling this other question during the end of the session.
Thank you so
Right.
much, Kingsley.
Thank you, Daddy. It's been an honor hearing you speak, and I believe our community have gotten to learn a lot from you. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for Nelly. Thank you so much. All right. So I'll get to call on our next speaker, who is the co-founder and CTO of N3 Global Tech, a Kerala-based technology company building scalable digital solutions across web, mobile, and AI-driven products. With a background in full stack and mobile development, he leads the company technical strategy, architecture, and product development, all the way from India. Please join me as I welcome Nabil as he takes us on problem solving and critical thinking. Nabil, the floor is yours, please.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, I
Hello?
can hear you, Nabil.
Yeah, sure. Hi, all. Good evening, everyone. First of all, like, I'm thanking to Kingsley and the Next Hype for giving this opportunity. It's very honored to be here. Like, the last week, Kingsley sent me a message in LinkedIn, like, like an invitation to this program. So the first thing is I'm not a good speaker or I'm not much like experienced person. Also, this is the first time I'm giving a lesson or giving a speak to the students from other countries, like other than India. Basically, I'm from India. That's it. And honestly, I didn't expect something like this. I don't even have many friends in professional connection outside India. I kept thinking, like, if like the will they understand my English? Something. Yes. And then I thought, like, my English is not good, but I can like I can give my experience in my journey in my career that will that sometimes help to these people. Basically, I'm scared of like such like things. If I keep saying because no, because like if I when I get this opportunity, first thought I was saying no to Muslim, but if I keep saying so no because I'm afraid, I will never know what capable of. So I accepted this invitation, and the first thought was, this is only a 10 minutes session. So why should I prepare for that? Just come here and spoke. But after the day, I thought of like this is a bigger opportunity for me. Like this is the first time to talk in the students from another country, and they are also there were students in universities and very technology students. So maybe I want to prepare something other than like giving a local speech. I want to prepare something. So I take it seriously. I wrote down my experience in my lessons and I kept small notes on that. So that's why I am speaking here today with with confidence. That's it. And today I'm standing here with much more confidence than I would have if I say no, I didn't get this opportunity. But I am here with the confidence to tell you this. Through this, I want to tell you something like this is the first lesson I want to give you. If you want to, like, if say something like such an interview or an exam or yes, even a 10-minute speech like this, you must need to prepare. Otherwise, maybe you will get tensed and you can tell what are like you will miss something. So preparation is the foundation of confidence. Many people think like confidence comes naturally, but the preparation makes very confident person. So in your career, you must be prepared for everything, even if it's an interview or an exam or a client meeting or a 10-minute speech like this. Take it seriously and prepare for that. You automatically become more confident. And I want to tell a story in my college days. Like every other engineering students, me and my friends, I had a dream. We don't want to work in a 9 to 5 circle or a circle loop. We want to build more than that. We want to be an our own one day. So we decided we research on say everything to other than the technical knowledge, how to become successful and something like that, like business ideas. But nothing works on that time. But I was learning programming languages and building projects and tutorials, trying even new frameworks, etc. in the college days. But in my opinion, that days, I think developing a software and becoming getting technical knowledge is the very easy way to become a successful man. But when we started thinking about building a products and eventually a company, we realized something. Technical knowledge is not enough to be a successful man. You need to understand the people, you need to understand the business, you need to understand the users and everything. If you only understand the people's needs, only so that you can solve the problems and become a solution for them. So colleges teaches you to how to write codes. The real world is teaches why we are writing that code. Okay, and in that time, like in the college days, in the first year, my I had a friend called Nipras. He come to me and says he got an opportunity as a freelance project, work in a freelance project for a gym. It's a gym management software. So he wanted me to contribute in that. Like it's a first year in college, so I didn't know how to bettering. I know coding, but I never worked in a real world project. So I was very tensed, and the first time I said no, but my friend says like maybe you should try it. So this was so the I did not even do not know how to do better, but we take the risk started. We accepted the project and we started building. And the first few weeks was very difficult because we was a beginners in this coding system. We know something, but we don't know like the large quantity. So the first few weeks was very difficult. We don't know how to start and where to start. Every feature looked impossible. Sometimes we spent nights and day and we didn't even sleep some days. So, but slowly we started asking questions to others. We get like we searched on Google's and we searched on YouTube and started asking seniors for help. And we read several documentation. We like first we failed so many things. Then we tried and tried. Eventually, the project that once looked impossible became something we're proud of. Last in like after 2 months, we completed the project, and it was very happy in that moment. That experience taught me my second lesson. Like you need to take risks. Only that you will become more powerful than your older version. Okay, take risk before you feel ready. You don't need to know everything before starting. The best engineer is not the person who knows everything, but who know how to find the like how to find the solutions. So, in my opinion, research for everything will also help you to build a better career. In the first project of my career journey, this was a gym project. So we don't know how to like more about coding or something, but we research on everything to find the better solution, and we built together and we completed the project. That's it. And after that, one more thing, like nowadays everything in your fingertip. You want to research about something, you get every information in your fingertip, and you don't need to worry about it. So you just need to research on that every day. You need to research on everything. That will help you to better, like, in a better way. You can understand, like you can experience that. And nobody knows everything, but everybody knows. You need to be know, like you need to prepare yourself where to find the answer. Sometimes you didn't know the where is the answer, what is the answer, but you want to prepare yourself where to find the answer. That's it. And one more thing, like after my college, I get an opportunity in a software company as an intern. It's a 4 month internship. And the initially, this was some first job in a corporate company, and it was a good company, and the environments are very nice. So I was very excited to join that company, and I worked hard. I stayed after office hours, and I took ownership of my task. So I wanted to be in the full time job in that company. So, like, I prepare myself. I worked hard and night, day and night. Like I took extra time in this company, and after that, after the 4 months, I realized that I didn't get selected for the full time job because I worked hard, but nobody noticed that. So I get the idea that I understand the lesson that if you build something, you need to showcase yourself. If you build a product, you need to tell everybody, yeah, I build a product in a way. Like otherwise, nobody gonna realize you or how capable are you. Never be realized. So you need to be showcase yourself in every way. Also, I am here because I posted something in LinkedIn, and Kingsley contacted me through the invitation in LinkedIn. But think you, like, if I am not posted that in LinkedIn, Kingsley never call me or give me an invitation or an opportunity to this system. So that's it. Nowadays, everybody, you have many platforms, and everywhere, so many things are here to showcase yourself. Like if you go to Instagram, you can take videos and publish them. In nowadays, the marketing is always done in through Instagram. So many business are giving many leads through Instagram. So that's it. You have every opportunity to showcase yourself. So don't make excuses. Just start today. That's it. And I want to tell one more story in my journey. Like when we after I rejected from the company, so I decided not to, like, we had a dream in the college days to build something big. So we friends gathered, 4 people, my 4 friends, we gathered and we started thinking about that. So we want to build a platform, so we decided to become a company. So we started N3 Global Tech. It was a startup company, and we helped the businesses to build information systems to manage and increase their profits and something. Honestly, we started with nothing. No office, no client, no investor, just 4 friends and 4 laptops. That's it. Our goal was simple: build product to the business and solve their problems. Also, like we want to be success through that. Initially, we also took small clients projects, like small amount, small payments are very small. Every project gave taught us something. Eventually, we decided to um, took care of a big project. So we got an opportunity from a relative, and conversation meet with a a large business owner. Honestly, it was the first time to meeting a well established company owner, like a large business owner. We were very nervous in that time, but we introduce ourselves, we explained our vision, and we tell everything about how we can help them to grow their business in very good manner. So because it was a very good client and they offer a very good investment in our company. The After the day they told us that, like, the first time they meet us they thought there are four young people, why they give their big project to us. But our talking and the communication will change the owner's mind. So in that day, I understand not technical skill or not a good experience. The best key in your career you want to build it is your communication. Communication is the key of your success. Communication is not about speaking English or using fancy words. It is it is building trust to others. If you communicate and build trust to others, it will help you in every way. Anyway, um, today maybe you got just a communication. Like, communication is about building trust, helping people to understand your idea. Through communication, people understand your personality and how you can help them, so they approach you. Also, the communication make good connection with us. It will help you in every way. Like, that's it. And that project is born because of the communication or the our presentation to this project. So the third lesson you want, yeah, this is the next lesson you must follow on your career: communication. And that's it. Another thing I want to tell you about before finishing, like, in my college days, I thought came like technology, technical knowledge, and the knowledge from the books. But it is the success of our life that helps our success. But today, like working in industry and building a products and starting in a company, I see different. Technical skill is the first door and not the full. But preparation, taking risk, researching, communication, showing your works, building products, and building much better relationship with others. This will help you to become a better career and a better successful story. I am
Nabil, if you were speaking, you're muted. If you could just, briefly round up.
that
All right.
and
Thank you so much, Nabil. Thank you very much. I mean, I have been following Nabil for some time, especially on LinkedIn, seeing the products they have built, right? And I was surprised when Nabil mentioned that how would we Africans understand their accents? And I was like, man, do you know that a lot of us in tech, we go to YouTube and things that Americans don't explain, things that British people don't explain, you guys explain it very well in details, right? I mean, from HTML, CSS, JavaScript, when I started picking up machine learning and the rest, the Indians are always there on YouTube without much introduction and they will start, explaining. So, I mean, Indians taught me more than my professors in school, to be honest. So I am very confident that yes, we understand Indian accents very well. So thank you very much for that interesting session, Nabil. I don't know if anyone in the house has any questions to ask before we proceed. Okay, you have a question. Okay. All right. So I can see your hands up.
Hello, Nabil. Thank you for that. So my question
Yeah.
is, when you were speaking, you were talking. The first point was preparation, understanding the client's need, and the business need. So I want to ask, before you walk into a meeting with a potential client, what is like a specific preparation ritual? Like, what do you do when you're trying to get to know them?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that one. Could you?
Okay, I'll go again. So, you talked about preparation where you need to understand the client's needs and the business needs. So, before you walk into a meeting with a potential client, what is a specific preparation ritual you do before you get to know them?
Yeah, basically, we are meeting with the business clients. The thing is, they are better in their area. Like if they are in, like, they are in construction industry, or they are in furniture industry, or they are in business in different areas, they are higher position in that area only. They didn't even know the knowledge of the technical. Maybe they didn't know the technologies or technical skills. So when we approach them, we need to explain them in the basic way, like this is this is that, something like that. This will how like this help them in this way and this way, like in very basic manner, so that only they will like agree with us. So we prepare our presentation the day before. We create a presentation and go to them and explain detailed in a very basic manner, so that they will agree with that and they give us the project. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much once again, Navio. Thank you for your time. I think it's around 10 p.m. or thereabouts over in India. So thank you very much for your time. Okay, so moving on to our next speaker, who is a social entrepreneur and technology innovator focused on education, agriculture, and youth development across Africa. He founded Agri Africa AI and serves as the chief technology officer at Skywall, a platform that teaches science through storytelling and immersive learning. He is also the state secretary of the Yali Network, Cross River State. So please drum rolls as we welcome John Osu to the stage as he takes us on communication and storytelling. John, it's awesome to have you here. The floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing today? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, great, great. Uh, how are you all doing? How's the weather over there? Some people are from Nigeria, Kenya, India. How's it? How's the weather? It's a pleasure to speak with you all today. Okay, thank you for the warm introduction, Kingsley. Thank you. Um, Thank you for the speakers, the lovely speakers who have had the session from me, Nabel. That's really wonderful. I think Nelly has touched some of the things I'll be saying today. Nelly has touched some of the things I'll be saying. So, um, why wait? Why wait for more time? Let's just go right in. So, the my a tech hackathon that changed pitch deck. When we applied for this hackathon, we had changed our pitch deck twice. Then less than 24 hours before presenting to the judges, we were told we had to change our pitch deck. Yeah, and the funny thing is that the day before that day, I was not in town. I and one other of my co-founders was not in town. So we had to change our pitch deck. The third time we were changing the pitch deck within about a week. Um, and I wasn't in town, so I just returned from a journey the night before. I was so exhausted. I had to prepare, get my way, get on the way to the venue for the pitch. And yeah, the next day for the pitch, we did well. We proved what we had. We said what we had, what we could, what we built, and we won. We won. And that experience taught me something important. It taught me that the best ideas doesn't always win. The idea that is communicated clearly often does. Because I was there and I could hear or listen to more people who had better ideas, better solutions than ourselves. Better solutions than ourselves. The best idea doesn't always win. The idea that is communicated clearly often does, because we find ourselves in different situations, different scenarios. So as professionals, as students, as business, as innovators, and young people, several, you find yourself in different phases and around different people. So you have ideas, you have dreams, some are very exciting, but you cannot communicate it clearly. The ideas will still be with you, the idea will still dwell with you. So communication is opportunity. So during that time, my team didn't just win because we had like one of the most sophisticated technology. We won because we explained the problem, the solution, and why it mattered. So I'm a tech innovator, and to pitch. I mean, you could be called up anytime to pitch. We always have a startup founders and all of okay. For in that, you still need frameworks. You still need to have, for example, some people have personal introduction, 30 seconds introduction. So wherever they find themselves, these are scripts they've rehearsed over and over again. So you yourself, you can. So one of the things I use for my is what I call the 3 Ps. It's called the promise, the problem, promise, and profits. Profits framework. It's called the 3 Ps framework. And it helped us during that time because we had limited time. We had limited time. We did justice to our solution. I won that event. I think 3 from I'll say November, October, December 2025. We won about 3 hackathons. And that was just like several of us in the team had several tasks to do. We had learned several stuff. We had several workshop trainings and all of that built us up for the startup we intend to push together. My team didn't just win because we have sophisticated technology, as I say, right? We're able to explain every single thing we did. First, explaining what they understood, what the problem was, what we were solving, the solution, and why it mattered. We also even got a national competition, an international competition, and we've even entered some incubators. So in every one of these experiences, communication was not an extra skill. It was the bridge between our ideas and the opportunities that we've received. So if I would ask 1 or 2 persons here, okay, if I'd ask you, how many of you have a good idea that you struggle to explain? If you're here, can you just raise your hands, your virtual hands? You have a good idea that you struggle to explain. Great, great. So it happens to a lot of us. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, because not everybody gets to admit it. Not everybody gets to admit that our ideas sometimes are not communicated well. So we just say, I think you're not understanding me. I think you're not understanding me. Meanwhile, the problem is even the listener. It is you, the communicator. So you're not alone. You're not alone. Most opportunities are lost because people lack ideas, because they cannot communicate those ideas clearly. That used to be me. That used to be me some time ago. And over time, over time. So one thing I've also learned from working with teams, because I mean we work with peers, families, we work with several people from different background. But one thing I've learned, right, is that yeah, they can't act. You belong to a team. You guys need to work on something. You guys need to move ahead. But you find out that some people just can't. Some people might call it articulation. Good, perfectly well. But you must understand that communication is understanding. Communication is also at the other end is listening. Nelly, yes, Nelly, I learned something also. She said, Nelly with the IE. So I learned something from joining. Thank you, Nelly, for that. So communication is listening from one end, and communication is understanding. So it's not about sounding intelligent, because you might just have a lot of ideas. You might have some crazy stuff in our head that we are like, oh, can you imagine? You just feel like you could take off what's in your head, and if there's a way possible, you could just put it on somebody's head, but it doesn't work that way. So communication is about making things simple, making things simple enough that people can take action. That is the goal of communication, not just they understand it. When they listen, when they understand, that they will take action. In fact, suggestion is an action. You can suggest something to someone, you can communicate a suggestion to somebody. What's the action there? You could like take it, document it. That also counts as communication. Doesn't have to mean that the person has to like do a tax per se. Okay. So a suggestion could also be communication, right? And if you want to know that someone truly heard what you were saying all through, sometimes we want to be in conversations where we listen to conversations and we are just waiting for what to say next. We're waiting for what to say next. The person goes about saying one thing and you're like, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing boom, you've cut the person short. Nah, that's not how a good communicator behaves or works. Because most times you got to let people express themselves, share their stuff. You understand, because a good communicator understands, listens, he understands, he knows what the users, the other person, you understand how he feels, his emotion behind what he's saying, understand context. He understands context. He also understands what the person is not saying and what he should say. So when we say good communicator, we need to listen. So I have this formula that I usually use while speaking with people, right? By speaking with people, because you see, the world is just full of problems, and you just can't find solutions to almost everything. I don't know about you, but that's how I've been trained over the years. So when I speak to people, I keep these three things in mind. When I'm conversing, I ask myself, right, what is the problem? Why does it matter? And what should we do next? Because it's just a gist. It's a gist if you're not if there's no action plan after your conversation. It's just a gist. It could be a chatter, it could just be a piece of information where I doesn't really mean anything. This is actually a clear communication framework I use. Truth is that confused people don't move. Clear people who move. Confused people, I mean, you've been in situations you just don't know what to do. You are at a standstill because you don't understand what to do next. A lot of times it is a communication problem. If you're listening, can I see some emojis, thumbs up? Oh, great, great. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So, uh, another aspect I would like to go into is storytelling. You see, great storytelling makes people care. Great storytelling makes people care, right? I started with telling my story, the story of a pitch we had, right? I started with that wonderful story. And I can say for sure, for a fact, that you felt one way or the other, okay? There was an emotion tied to it because you have experienced that one way or the other. I mean, you had to be in a rush, you've for something like you're exhausted, but you still had to do that thing, or you tried something one, two, the third time before you walked out. I mean, like just when just when we made the pitch twice already, we're being asked another one within 24 hours to um before we present, right? Why did the judges remember our pitch? Why did we win? Because stories create emotion. If it doesn't matter as a salesperson, as a student, as a professional, I just got to understand that this is how people work. This is how people. Yes, there's a natural way to persuade people. There's a natural way to convince people. Okay, and you don't have to go to a school or something. Some people do say just touch weak spots. Yeah, it do happen, right? You could use nostalgia, okay, to like while telling a story. I know a friend who she sells healthy drinks, natural drinks, but those drinks are the product, but that's not just what she's selling. That's not what she's selling. She sells, yes, drinks are healthy, there's the hospitality part to it, there's the climate action to it, but what she sells is the nostalgia because she sells a healthy drink. Those people that are over here in Nigeria, in fact, South Nigeria, know what Zobo drink. And as a young person, as a child, your family, your parents, your mom, your family as a whole, there was a time where they had this drink they made, maybe kunu, um, zobo, soya bean milk. We also had Five Alive. We had chivita. We had there's a type of big juice like that. I think it's yellow in color, mango juice or something, pineapple juice. Then when we had as children, okay. So these things had to like bring us back, nostalgia. So when she pitches this idea to you, she tells you a story about, and that's the simple way people stand out. You're being asked a question during the work we like call it a meet and greet, or you attend an event and they ask everybody, what's your name? Everyone is saying, good day everyone. My name is John. Good day everyone. Okay, so good day everyone, my name is John and I'm a social entrepreneur. The next person they ask, Good everyone. Okay, let me use Mr. Kingsley. Good everyone. My name is Kingsley. I'm a good everyone. My name is Kingsley. I'm a social innovator. The third person. Good everyone. My name is this. I'm a this, and it just but that flow, right, tends to stand out. So so you could come and meet me, right? I could tell you, instead of following in such an occasion, I could go ahead to tell you, uh, my name is Vin, and when I was 3 years old, when I was a child, I was 10 years old, I wanted to become a magician, but my father said no. So when I went over to the college, my father had me study medicine, and at the end of it, I was a medical or something, right? Something that drives people, something that takes people out of the usual. And storytelling does that every single time. Story doesn't have to be great. The story uh, 100%. I mean, sometimes it could be fictional. You're very free to do that, okay? So next, I'll go back to, okay, it makes people care. Yeah. So you see, people remember problems. They remember people, other people. They remember their journey. They remember transformation. They remember experiences. Those five things. They remember problems, people, journeys, transformation, experiences. Remember food, music, all of those things. And when you know, understand who you're speaking with, and you can find something out of it, understand the audience you're speaking with, attach something to it. And yes, let me make mention of something, biases. Yes, bias is a, how will I call it? Bias is not okay. Bias is not totally bad. So you could use it to your advantage. You could use it to your advantage. Storytelling formula I love, right? So whenever I reach out to you, I tell you a problem. I start with a problem. Tell you the struggle around it. I tell you the solution and also tell you the impact. This thing is not just how you communicate, okay? Even how you write. Yeah, communication is both in orally and verbally, okay? Even with your these like your you communicate several things. So another thing I want to let us know, right? Because there are a lot of things on the internet, and we see a lot of good writings and stuff. We believe that some people are very good communicators. Meanwhile, that is not true. Some people I'm in the AI field, right? And I can tell you, some people are just good prompt engineers who know how to tell good stories, who know how to, yeah, execute this. That, yeah, some people know how to, in fact, some people know how to read, speak with AI, right? AI give them some kind of crazy scripts that they're gonna use almost all through. But yeah, is it right? No all full of AI content. AI will not communicate for you. I will also think for you. You're doing the thinking. AI is meant to be supervised. So I don't want to go into AI. I mean, I'm a tech person. Some people will start being like, I didn't come for an AI stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's technical. So yeah, it's all. So guys, when someone asks, tell me yourself, how do you explain yourself to people? Yes, a lot of people, for example, students, they are used to this thing. I hear it a lot. They ask, okay, Mr. Kingsley, I'll soon be. Yeah, I'm keeping the time here. When things are being asked, right, try to students, tell me about yourself, or tell me what do you do. They go like, I'm a student. Nah, you should never say you're a student because being a student is not what you do. Okay, after how many years? Um, 4 years courses, 5 years, 6 years courses. What happens after that? You become, you're no more students. What about those that are doing their postgraduate and their PhDs? When they are being asked, they say, I'm a student. No. Rather, when you're being asked, tell me about yourself, don't start with your degree. But instead, start with something like this. Here's a problem I care about. Here's what I'm doing about it, and here's why it matters. That's storytelling. That's how to communicate. Let me leave you all with this clear framework for workplace communication. I think it's time about it's already time. So real quick, clear communication. C, L, E, A, and R. Clear. So C, clarify your message. Clarify the message. So what exactly are you trying to communicate before speaking? Before you ask yourself, what's the main point? What action do I want? The second um, framework there is L. Listen first. Listen first. So great communicators don't just talk, they listen. So you listen to, you understand your audience need, you understand their concerns, understand the level of understanding they have, so you know how you communicate. The E is explain simply, right? I love this quote by someone. He said, "Simplicity is the highest sophistication." So, yeah, you can explain your if you can explain your idea in one sentence. I mean, you yourself don't know what you're building. You don't know what you're working in. You don't know where you belong. If you can explain in one sentence, and the A means align with the audience. So having understood that different people need different messages. For example, your CEO want a different message from your colleague or your customer. If you work in a professional setting, your CEO wants outcomes, your colleague wants clarity, your customer will want value. So these are like several things, several alignments you need with your audience. I need to and find they are reinforced with stories. Stories cannot just be overemphasized, right? Because it's good to have numbers, but your numbers have to stay with people even long after you've had conversations with them. So your facts, your numbers, your research discoveries will inform people, but your stories will persuade them to buy, persuade to sell, persuade to invest, and the rest. So people remember your the people, the transformation. So thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity, Mr. Kingsley. Please go ahead. Thank you. I've had a wonderful time with your.
My God. Thank you so much, John, for that engaging and very insightful session. I think we've learned a lot. We've benefited a lot from this. All right. I know you mentioned a framework. You start with the problem and what should we do next. And I think communication is very crucial. I had a client once in Canada, and whenever we have discussion, speaking acronyms and the rest, technical, she will done. And when I'm done, she tell me, Kingsley, communication is not when you speak; it's when I understand. So even if you how and I understand, you've not communicated to me. So I think this session is extremely important, and we can now use the frameworks we learned to communicate better, right? Not just speaking, but also listening. So I'm very sure we have our questions. If you have any questions, please signify with a raise of hand. You have any questions? All right, Shukura, you can proceed, please.
Sir, good evening, sir. Thank you so much for the wonderful section, sir. Introduction, you made mention of communication being a powerful skill. So I want to ask, over the years in your experience, what soft skills had a great impact on your career, and how can young professionals intentionally develop it?
Okay. Thank you for that wonderful question. I think I'll wait for the second question, so I just move it up to if there's any more questions. Anyone has any other questions before I answer altogether? Okay, I think I'll just go ahead, right? So in my journey, right, professional journey, among all the skill sets, right, especially soft skills I've developed over the years, um, I didn't just take one, like, it wasn't just a one or something, okay? I would say it's the ability to communicate, actually, communicate. Because you see, in the profession, you have not just what you think about, right? You're working with several people. You guys have an objective, have a primary goal you want to achieve. Now, if everyone doesn't align to that goal, if everyone doesn't um, align themselves to that vision, whatever they are doing, their tasks and all of, what happens is that the workplace become chaotic. The workplace become chaotic, and at the end of it, we just been a group of people, mature people who came and wasted their time. So I'll say over and over again, because communication from the boss to those that are executing the task, the boss or the manager or the CEO, because I believe, I believe, I've worked with several people all over the world, from UK to the United States to South Africa, South America to different parts of Africa, and I'll tell you that these people had different backgrounds. In fact, they spoke different languages, but the fact that I could understand them once, while as as a Nigerian, I mean, I know what you want, right? And you tell me what you want, I can understand, read your mind, understand what you want, the idea you're trying to translate and execute it was just a super task. So education is one of the best skill sets you can have. To follow it up with not just being technical. Someone said something I love so much. His name is Bingyang. He said, at the time in his life, being technical was all of it, was everything. So he had to, then he discovered that being technical was not everything. So he said, being outspoken about what you do, he found out that that wasn't. So when he merged the two, he found being technical was 50%, being able to convince people, being able to communicate was that 50%. And that's how he got jobs, and he stayed at his work, built good work ethic, work relationship, and developed with the rest of his teammates and members, and they grew the organization faster. Thank you very much. I've taken this of the time, Mr. Kingsley.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate. I think community once again has benefited greatly from your session. Nelly, I don't know if you can take Able-based question now. Is that
Yes, Kingsley, it's very possible. Um, Let me go back to the chat once again. Um, mention that we should listen and give others the space to know their value. Sometimes we're not given the space to do so. So how do we showcase our values when we are not given the space? Thank you so much, Ebube, for this question. It's very thoughtful, and especially for those, if it's coming from a point of someone in school or those in their early careers, Ideally, every should implement and should create want to contribute. But unfortunately, that isn't always the case. Sometimes you may find it is overlooked because you're new, or you're young, or you're quieter, or just simply because there are others who dominate a conversation. While we can't always control whether people give us space or not, we can control how we position ourselves to create opportunities for our voices to be heard. And you find that you need to push yourself. Sometimes when you speak, let it be intentional. People begin to notice those who consistently contribute rather than just speaking to be heard. So going, if an opportunity hasn't been presented to you, try and speak with a lot of intentionality. Secondly, I think work with creating your own opportunities. If you aren't during a meeting, during a class, during whichever area that you think that you are not given a point to communicate, you can, if it's in school, follow up with your supervisor. If it's at work, follow up with your supervisor. An email with your ideas or ask, may I share one? Taking initiative respectfully tends to always open doors. Thirdly, I think I would say you build relationships. People are more likely to seek your input when they trust you and when they recognize your strengths. To network and also build genuine relationships surrounding people who matter in regards to what you want to say. And lastly, I think I will say don't confuse your value. Sometimes your ideas may not be acknowledged immediately. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are not valuable. You just need to keep learning, keep let the consistency that you have build your credibility. At the same time, I would want to acknowledge that if you're in an environment excluded or ignored from contributing despite the many efforts that you put to actually make yourself be heard, that's not a reflection of the worth that you have. That normally must create spaces for diverse voices. So if the environment does not allow you to grow or to contribute over time, it may be worth seeking spaces that your contributions are also genuinely valued. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Ebube. Thank you so much, Kingsley.
Thank you so much. I believe you've clearly answered Ibube's question. So, wow, we've learned a lot from our lineup of extremely diverse facilitators. And I really want to appreciate you for efforts joining us to share your knowledge. But before we wrap up, I want to touch on something called feedback. And I know this because it's a very sensitive issue, whether you're the one giving it or whether you're the one receiving it. I will say this, that as long as Africa, okay, let me bring it down to Nigeria. As long as Nigeria is concerned, a lot of us don't know how to give good feedback, right? A lot of supervisors, managers don't know how to give feedback. So it can create tension in the workplace. It can create tension when you're trying to collaborate with others. See, there's this notion that we're logical creatures. It's a lie. But we are not logical creatures who have emotions. We are emotional creatures who can think. So a lot of our thinking, a lot of our action is actually uh, emotions, not necessarily logic. And whenever you are being given feedback, right? If it's not a decent feedback, like I said, not everybody can give good feedback. Let's say you're a web developer and you built a website, and someone comes and tells you that your client was, ah, what are you doing? It's important personal, right? Do not see it as a personal attack. So I would say that the first strategy you use is to pause. When you've paused, you've given yourself enough time to let your emotions settle and think about it. The next thing is to ensure that you are not taking it personal. Separate your identity from the feedback. Separate it. It's not a personal attack. Do not take it as one. And the last thing you can do, which is very critical, is that ask specific question. Right? If told you that the flyer you design is ugly, it doesn't make sense. Then you can ask them, what does good look like? Do you have any specifics you want us to change in this, website, in flyer, or in any output you are presenting? That's for the receiving end. However, if you're in a position where you won't giving feedback, I would always encourage you to use the sandwich technique. You've heard of it. It's where you understand how sandwich is, right? Bread, then there's the filling, the main stuff, right? The chicken, the mayonnaise, the veggies, and the rest. And there's the bread again. So you start with a compliment, right? Then you give the main feedback and end with a compliment. So let's say you hire, say you are a copywriter. What his output, his work he sent is not very good, and you want to give him feedback. You can start with a compliment. What you what you've gotten is very thoughtful. I was able to enjoy the storyline and the rest. Then that's the bread. Now the main stuff is where you start criticizing him or her. Okay, your grammar is wrong, right? You're not putting in these areas. This narrative is not particularly very and you a compliment with that feedback. Let's say you can say, I like your passion, I like your commitment. You were able to deliver this output in a very short period of time. So start with feedback. Start give your main feedback with comments. This way you are able to give feedback in such a way, to see that, right? So next on our agenda, I'm sure that, but you any question. But if you have any question, you have any concern, you can simply ask that chat. So in the beginning of our session, we something concerning the gifts. I don't know here. If you're here, just raise. So we all join. If you were here in the beginning of our session, I talked about a gift. So I don't know if you were here during that initial moment. You can kindly raise your hand out. Okay. All right. All right. So we have an. Nice, nice, nice. Uh, okay. So we have an upcoming. So we have an upcoming session, rather, and it's going to be a data analytics bootcamp. And we are going to touch on data analytics software, data analytics tools, visualization, spreadsheets, SQL, and the rest. And one very critical aspect of this, I say this as somebody who has hired several people, is that at the end, you're going to get a verifiable port website. So at the end of this, you're going to get a verifiable portfolio website whereby when once you send it to higher managers, they can take and see the work you've done. So beyond just that, we are going to give out internship slots with our higher network. If you are interested in this bootcamp, which is just limited for the people who've stayed to the end of this session, kindly reach out to the admins on the group chat. If you're interested, reach out to any of the admins on the group chat. If you are not in the group chat, you can reach out to the mail that this calendar invite to you, right? Okay, so successfully come to the end of our session. I am very convinced that we got to learn a lot from our lineup of facilitators, bring diverse facilitators from well, different experiences, and I'm sure we learn a lot. So I want to say a big thank you, participants, for your time, for your efforts showing up here. I want to say an additional thank you to Nigeria, Kenya, and India. It's different time zones, so it's later there, right? You, your time, your efforts. Thank you for coming to share your knowledge, your perspective with young to better themselves. And we hope to see you all in the next session. So thank you very much, guys, and do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye bye.